Your one click on the subscribe button makes a huge difference. Thank you for your kind support.
The film opens with a clandestine meeting in a church where a woman is instructed to place a crypto wallet under a kneeler. When she demands payment, tension escalates as she realizes she's being used as an errand girl in some unknown scheme. The scene quickly shifts to the White House, where we meet President Danielle Sutton, who's informed that a situation is developing with someone called Avid. This turns out to be her teenage daughter Serena, who has snuck out of the White House despite security protocols. After Serena is apprehended and returned to the White House, President Sutton scolds her, stating, "You know I've had to work twice as hard to get here. Why do you need to make it harder?" We learn Serena hacked into the security system to create her own RFID key, showing her technical prowess despite her rebellious nature. The relationship between mother and daughter is strained, with Serena feeling trapped in the White House, like a zoo animal. Her brother Demetrius, nicknamed D, is more compliant, though Serena taunts him that all his friends are animated. Their family dynamic is further revealed as we meet the first gentleman, Derek Sutton, who provides emotional support to his wife. Their conversation reveals that President Sutton has an important initiative called the Together Plan that she hopes to present at the upcoming G20 summit in South Africa. President Sutton is preparing for the G20 summit where she plans to propose a digital currency solution to help farmers in sub-Saharan Africa access banking. This initiative is personal to her, as she references her uncle's saying, "You can give a man a fish and feed him for a day, or you can teach a man to fish and feed him for life." During a press conference, she's blindsided by questions about Serena's bar incident, which has gone viral. A reporter asks how the public can trust her to keep them safe when she can't keep her own house in order, visibly frustrating the president. Following this public embarrassment, President Sutton decides her children will accompany the family to Cape Town. This leads to another confrontation with Serena, who accuses her mother. "All you ever try to do is make yourself look good." Later, Derek comforts the distressed president, reassuring her that she's a great mother and that someday Serena will see you for all that you are. As preparations for the G20 continue, we're introduced to Treasury Secretary Joanna Worth, an old political rival turned ally who reminds the president of their shared journey. "About 100 years ago, either of us could vote. But here we are, you and I, on the way to G20 on Air Force One." During a security briefing, President Sutton learns that private contractors called Pax Worldwide Security have been brought in to supplement security at the summit, despite her reservations about using contractors. Meanwhile, we see a man named Corporal Rutledge arriving at the summit venue, reuniting with former military colleagues who now work for Pax Security. Their conversation has ominous undertones about babysitting the same bastards that put us in their dirty little war. The hotel security features RFID wristbands that track movement throughout the property, which immediately catches Serena's attention as a potential security challenge. As the summit begins, President Sutton faces challenges in gaining support for her plan from world leaders, particularly British Prime Minister Oliver Everett, who condescendingly tells her, "Nobody likes a bulldozer," and suggests that mere consideration of her proposal would be a victory. During these political maneuvers, we see Rutledge and his team implementing a sinister plan, recoding door locks, disabling cell towers, and preparing for something major. The situation escalates dramatically when explosions rock the hotel. In the confusion, it becomes clear that this is a coordinated terrorist attack. The president's protective detail, led by Agent Manny Ruiz, attempts to secure her, but she refuses to leave without knowing her children are safe. The terrorists, led by Rutledge, take control of the summit, capturing most of the world leaders. However, President Sutton, along with a small group including Prime Minister Everett, IMF head Elena Romano, and South Korean First Lady Han Min-seo, managed to escape the ballroom through a hidden door that Agent Rees discovered during his advanced security work. Meanwhile, Derek and the children are also on the run within the hotel. When terrorists come to their room, Serena leads her brother through hidden passages, showing her resourcefulness. The stakes increase when Rutledge begins making video broadcasts, revealing his plan to expose a global conspiracy. He claims the leaders intend to steal weaker nations' resources to bolster their own failing currencies, and urges people worldwide to pull their money from banks and invest in cryptocurrency. The economic implications are massive, with potential for market collapse that would benefit those who've invested in crypto beforehand. As the hostage situation develops, President Sutton shows her military background, insisting on carrying a weapon and participating in eliminating hostile forces despite Agent Rees's protests. "I've handled weapons before, and I've seen my share of combat," she asserts. When Rees reminds her that was 2 decades ago, she retorts, "Well, that's more than you can say about any of those others." Her combat skills are proven when she and Rees successfully neutralize threats, though with emotional cost as allies are lost in the process. The group's plan evolves to reach the presidential limousine, nicknamed the Beast, in the underground garage to breach the hotel perimeter. During a quiet moment, President Sutton and Prime Minister Everett share a personal conversation where she confesses the truth about her celebrated military heroism. Though famously photographed carrying a child to safety on the cover of Time magazine, she reveals the untold part. "I had to pry that child from his mom, who was blown apart. I was so scared. I just ran." The Prime Minister responds with a story about Winston Churchill escaping a POW camp in South Africa, concluding, "We get here how we can. It's what we do here that matters." Serena and Demetrius, meanwhile, discover they can access terrorist communications and attempt to create a makeshift network to contact the outside world. When they finally reach their mother via radio, the emotion is palpable. Their conversation is interrupted when it's revealed that Derek has been captured by Rutledge, who beats him on the radio to force President Sutton to surrender. In a heartbreaking moment, believing she will die, the president tells her husband, "Derek, I love you. Tell the children I love them. Tell Dee he's my joy. Tell Serena I'm sorry. I'm proud of who she is." The plot thickens when Secret Service agent Darden is revealed to be working with the terrorists, betraying the first family. When Derek asks why, Darden claims, "Your wife betrayed my country when she decided farmers in Africa were more important than Americans." After reaching the Beast, President Sutton and her companions attempt to breach the perimeter but are hit by a missile from the terrorists. Though they survive, the attack demonstrates how thoroughly prepared the terrorists are. In a pivotal moment, President Sutton establishes radio contact with Serena, who proposes using her hacking skills to help. "Maybe I can do that thing you told me to never ever do again. But instead of going to the party, I can bring the party to us." She's referring to her ability to hack the hotel's security system, which could give them an advantage. Working together, mother and daughter form a plan. While President Sutton creates diversions, Serena will hack into the hotel systems to disable security and allow a rescue team to enter. This cooperative effort marks a turning point in their relationship, with Serena's technical skills becoming crucial to saving lives rather than causing trouble. The situation grows increasingly desperate as Rutledge executes hostages and forces others to read pangrams, sentences containing all phonetic sounds, that will allow him to create deepfake videos of the leaders endorsing cryptocurrency. When South Korean President Lee Young-ho refuses, explaining the purpose of the pangram, Rutledge violently assaults him. The deepfakes begin circulating online, creating global financial panic exactly as planned. As markets crash and cryptocurrency values soar, Rutledge gloats about becoming a billionaire through the scheme. However, his obsession with capturing President Sutton suggests a deeper, more personal motivation beyond financial gain. When they finally confront each other, Rutledge reveals his true motive: revenge. He explains he was in Fallujah during the same deployment as Sutton. "I was in the caravan ahead of you, clearing IEDs off the road, and a bomb made just for you Americans killed 2 of my brothers. My best mates." He accuses her of exploiting tragedy for political gain. "You plucked a kid out of the rubble that you'd created. You got a photo taken, and you came home to a hero's welcome. But you're no hero." In another shocking twist, Treasury Secretary Joanna Worth is revealed to be working with the terrorists. When confronted by President Sutton, Worth expresses bitter resentment. "I worked my entire life for the job you took. It was mine, and I was forced to sit and watch you walk into it as if it belonged to you. The president simply responds, I was elected, coward. The climax accelerates when Serena is captured while searching for her mother. Rutledge takes her to a helicopter on the roof, planning to escape with his cryptocurrency fortune. In the final confrontation, President Sutton exchanges herself for her daughter, but Serena refuses to leave without her mother. As they struggle with Rutledge on the helicopter, it crashes and dangles precariously from the building's edge. In a tense sequence, rescue teams and hotel staff form a human chain to pull the helicopter back, saving both Sutton and Serena from certain death. The film concludes with the resolution of the crisis, Rutledge's defeat, and a stronger bond between President Sutton and her daughter. The final scenes show President Sutton continuing her work with renewed support, having proven herself not just as a leader but as a mother willing to risk everything for her family. The music swells with empowering lyrics about rising higher and letting your wings soar now, emphasizing themes of female leadership, resilience, and the balance between public duty and family bonds. The film leverages its action thriller framework to explore themes of political power, family dynamics, the double standards women in leadership face, the traumatic legacy of military service, financial terrorism, and the complicated relationship between personal sacrifice and public service. Through President Sutton's journey, we see how her past as a soldier, her present as a world leader, and her fundamental role as a mother converge in a crisis that tests all aspects of her identity.